Hi, I'm Sue Jacobs, and I'm here with Dalton's new fire chief, Chief Jim Peltier, and we're doing a meet and greet here today. And I'm glad you're joining us, and look forward to learning more about our new chief and the chief with the better badge, Deanna. So anyway, we are very pleased to welcome you. You've been here just 6 months.
Yep. Yes. Good morning.
Just a bit. Yeah, almost, you started September 27th.
That's correct.
Yeah, wonderful. And you came from?
I came from the Southborough Fire Department, and I was there for about 27 years. And I left as a shift lieutenant, which was, we were in charge of 5 people on a shift.
Okay. Not the big department. How big a community was it?
About 10,000.
Oh, okay. So bigger than Dalton.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Bigger.
Not
Yep.
bad.
No.
Not quite twice the size. So I was curious, when did you first become interested in firefighting?
Well, it's kind of an odd question. The answer, I guess, is the worst of it. So my father and my mother were in the fire service. And not that I didn't have a choice, but the earliest memory that my mother had of me going to a fire was I was in a baby seat, a bucket, and was babysat by the engineer of the fire truck at a multiple alarm fire. My father was an assistant fire chief in Marlborough.
Okay.
So basically, since I was born, maybe even before. So for the kids that say they want to be firefighters and have fire trucks and fire hats, and yeah, I was him. I was that kid, but I had real fire hats and real fire trucks. So growing up through that, it was amazing. I learned a lot, and my father being a mentor, the older generation of firefighters being my mentors and friends, got to learn a lot of the old ways. My father was an instructor at the Fire Academy, Mass Fire Academy, from the beginning of it. So it was constant learning. And at a very early age, I had that option to go to these classes. And even before I was technically a firefighter, I was learning a lot. So that really helped me kind of pave my direction of where I was going to end up. There really was no thought of what I was going to be when I grew up. So my mother was the photographer for the arson investigation team in the city. And she also worked at the Fire Academy as a media specialist. So she was taking pictures of everything. Training-wise, she was setting up new classes, all that. So there was a lot of family involvement.
I guess. So this apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Sometimes I think I was still connected to the tree. So it did work out well. I've loved the service. Never looked back. I went through a vocational school, and I took metal fabrication and welding. So I did that a little bit. During high school, after high school, as part-time jobs, and obviously I wanted to be a firefighter, a career firefighter. So my senior year, I was out on work release, if you will, and I was working for a fire alarm company. And then that was during the day. At night, I was going to EMT class, and then I transitioned into going to the Fire Academy full-time. So basically I graduated high school, the Fire Academy, and EMT all within 3 weeks of my senior year. So, I had a leg up on a lot of people. But,
I guess.
So I've been on a few different departments as a call volunteer, and then started full-time in Southborough in 1999. So, but I was a fire explorer. I've been a call firefighter in every rank in the fire service now, all the way up to chief. So it's been quite the ride.
I guess so. Interesting. Very interesting. So with both your parents being instructors, you had mentioned to me that you too are an instructor.
Yes.
And specific areas, or just in general, the whole field of firefighting, or?
So I am a full field, if you will, instructor, specialize in rapid intervention crews, which is the elite firefighters that would go in and rescue other firefighters that were in trouble inside a building or in a collapsed building or a trench or anything. So for the last 10 years or so, I've been working with a company that we do exclusively rapid intervention training. It's not a very glamorous, pleasant time when you think about losing a firefighter or having a firefighter trapped and injured inside a building. But it's an art that you have to deal with a bunch of stress and a building falling down around you, typically still on fire. So there's a lot mentally and probably even more physically that people will put themselves into trying to be the first one to get to them. And typically it's multiple groups that it take to get these people out. So you're not only training them physically, you're training them mentally to understand the stresses of that job.
A lot of psychology involved in that, I'm sure. And
there is. There is. And you know, sometimes the emotional scars that go with just any part of our job take a toll. So the mental health of everybody, be it you know, the junior fire explorers all the way up to a chief officer, you have to watch for them because you know there's a lot that can happen. You know, you're molding people at different times, and you're molding we'll call it a lay person. You know, the citizen that wants to help out sees you know, a show about the emergency services, and it looks very glamorous and very exciting, and sometimes that's not really true. You know, and as an instructor, you have to be a full service. You can't just say this is how you put the fire out. There's a lot of science goes behind it, and then a lot of emotional support that goes with that.
How often I've heard the whole firefighting community described as a brotherhood, and how you each have the other's backs. And I think you just explained that now very clearly, the emergency response teams. You just set your own fears aside and you go forward and save your brother.
Yeah, it's definitely family oriented. We basically know everybody on the fire departments. We know their family. You know, you eat, sleep, drink together. You know, you're having a great time. You're picnicking. You're having a pool day, and next thing you know, the fire tones go off, and the firefighters are out the door. Yep. So holidays, birthdays, unfortunately, over the years you end up missing a lot, and the families are actually what keep the families together. So it's a huge support network. It's not just the members of the fire department. It's actually family driven. You're absolutely correct. It's not just a brotherhood, it's a family. Yep. And the biggest point is, if we didn't have our families behind us, we would never be able to do our job.
Right.
It just wouldn't work out.
Right. Very true. You've mentioned a couple of times, now I'm going to confess I can't remember the exact wording, the junior firefighters?
The fire explorers, yes.
Fire explorers. Yep. And I think there used to be one in Dalton. Is there one currently?
There was one, and it had gone defunct a little bit for a couple of years. When I got here in late September, that was one of my biggest wants, was to get that back. Because really, when you think about it, our next generation of firefighters comes from the junior firefighters. So there's very few CEOs, high-ranking people, lawyers, doctors that want to be a firefighter or that actually have the time for it. So if we've got somebody from the age of 14 to 21 into that role, and you're always going to have, let's say we get 10 that want to do it, you're going to end up with at least half that stay. It's understandable.
Sure.
You know, people move on, their lives change. As a fire explorer, you're allowed to do a lot of the exterior work, set up generators, lights, change RES cylinders, fight brush fires, you know, different things that you're trained to do. And then they're able to get on the fire department at age 18. If they don't want to get on there, they're there until 21. And basically a fire explorer is the adult side of the Boy Scouts of America.
Right.
You don't have to be a male, you can be a female. It doesn't, there's no restriction. And I believe right now we have 5. And they train once a week, and the guys that are there are great. You know, they're instructed by members of the fire department.
Right.
So they learn their job so they can do their job. You know, they don't need to know how to be a fire chief yet. They need to know how to do exterior work, and that's where they're going to be, in a safe area. And then as they get older, we build up some more training for them. But they are a vital part of the fire department right now.
Good. That's good. So are you looking for more 14 up
We're
year olds?
always looking for fire explorers. We're always looking for members of the fire department.
Okay.
Anyone that is willing to help out their community,
Yes.
we pretty much have a spot for them.
That's wonderful. And what day and how many hours weekly?
So the fire department trains on Monday evenings. And that would be 3 hours every Monday, so 3 hours a week. If they were to go and get certified as a firefighter 1-2, which is the state level certification, so that they can go inside and do a lot, operate fire trucks and ladder trucks and all that, it's about 330 hours.
So how about for the explorers?
The explorers, there's no set training hours, but they do meet on Sunday morning, I believe it is. It was Wednesday evening, but I think with the schools and too much homework, and you know, they have to have obviously that done. But I believe it's now Sunday morning that they do their training, and it's at the fire station.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested in it, they can call the fire station, or they can stop by, and anyone there can give them a once-over on what's going on and an application. We do have applications there.
Okay. What time?
Anytime that...
No, I mean for the training.
Oh, for the training, I believe I don't run it, so I think it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings.
Okay. So if somebody's attending church with their family, that wouldn't work for them necessarily. But
no, but it does
if
run for a few hours. So there's always time to come in.
Okay.
You know, and if they find that there's too much of a conflict, there can be time added or times changed.
Okay.
It's very fluid right now
good.
because it's back up and running. Like I said, it was on an evening. Kind of found that the parents were a little bit upset because, you know, between family time, homework time, and then whatever else they have going on for sports or anything, there's, as everyone, all of our lives are very busy. And we totally understand that, and we're trying to make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
So whatever they can give, whatever we can give them, we're working together.
That's wonderful. So for those who might have just tuned in, I'm Sue Jacobs, and I'm here with our new fire chief, Jim Peltier, and we're chatting about the department. And for any of you kiddos, age 14 to 21, who might be interested in the Fire Explorers, please stop by the firehouse and speak with the chief or one of the other officers or firefighters there on duty. So get some more information. I think that's a wonderful opportunity for them. So you had mentioned when we were chatting earlier about a mentoring program between your seasoned firefighters and new folks looking to come into the department.
Yep. So our mentor program, which is in the process of actually running, we just started it up again. So you're right. It's with a member that's been around for a bit, and we bring a new person on. They don't just roam around wondering what's going on. It's so we have our training on Monday nights, and then they're kind of stuck with them. You know, you're learning from them. We're listening in class. We're listening at direction time. But if there's a question, they can go to them directly. If there's concerns, they go directly to them. That mentor is there to guide them, but also educate them on the finer arts of stuff that's not really taught in a book. It's more like street knowledge. You know, we can teach you everything in 1,000 pages, but once the bell hits and you go to your first fire, sometimes that's not in the book. So it's little tidbits that they get, and they can actually learn from it and keep themselves out of trouble usually. So
that's good. That's good. So other than getting the explorers going, what are some of your other goals for the department?
So another goal that's really needed is 24-hour coverage. And we right now operate from 8 in the morning till midnight with full-time coverage with 2 people on. Obviously that's not enough to do everything for a call, but it gets the ambulance or the first fire truck out relatively quickly. We are finding that we're having more and more double calls. So the ambulance is out on a call, and then there's another ambulance call or a fire call. So we have nobody available. So what we're trying to do is go from 8 in the morning to 8 in the morning for a 24-hour shift. That way, from midnight to 8, there's coverage. We're not having to rely on people coming from home. You know, you're woken up by your pager, have to get ready, go to the station, get in the vehicle, and then go to the scene. Because I know that if I was having a heart attack, the last thing I really want to do is wait. So we have to, you know, think about that and also be very cognizant of the finances that we're looking to spend. But I think that what we're spending far outreaches the helping the families, and it's about community. Obviously we're here to help the community, and the next best thing to help the community would be 24-hour coverage.
Right.
With that, we are at 6 right now for staffing, 6 firefighters. We would need 2 more, and that's in the budget for next year. So we're hoping that budget passes.
Oh, yes.
So
residents, remember to go to town meeting and vote.
Yeah. So that would be at the water district, at the fire station for that meeting. And we are really pushing for that because it's going to help everybody out, you know, rapid access. And then the next real big program would be the ALS program, which would be putting a paramedic in our ambulance. Because right now we have basic EMTs, which can provide only so much. But with the shortages of ALS programs in the area.
What is ALS? I'm sorry.
The advanced life support.
Okay.
So having a paramedic, you know, somebody that can start IVs, give certain meds, use a heart monitor. Basically the street doctor, if you will. You know, like the show Emergency, where they were able to do all that, talk to the doctor and all that through a radio. Basically, we have the same thing here in the state, but we're able to run on certain standing protocols. So they can do certain stuff for any type of a patient up to a point, and then they have to get permission to do anything else. But for the most part, by the time they need to call a doctor, they're already at the hospital. So that would be our next big step after the 24-hour coverage, because we don't have the availability of paramedicine all the time. And again, the community deserves the next level of certification and service to them, you know.
That's important. And I have to apologize. I was thinking that the fire department budget was still part of the town budget, but it's not. It's separated.
Correct.
So the voting would be through the fire district.
Correct. The water district.
The water district.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I hope I haven't confused everybody out there in TV land. Collaboration. I know that you are part of mutual aid, and I've seen in the paper where Dalton has provided backup for other communities when there have been catastrophic events. How often does that usually happen?
Well, like I was saying with the ambulances right now, we provide ambulance coverage for several towns. Pretty much every town that we touch, and then even a little further. There's just not enough EMS units to cover every call that every town has. So if we're in another town, and then we have a call, somebody else has to come cover us. So it's nature of the beast.
Yes,
you know, it's always happening.
Yeah.
So mutual aid. This area of the county works very well together for mutual aid. It's reciprocal. It could be that day it's reciprocal. We go somewhere, they come here.
Yeah.
And that's not just EMS. That's for fires, car accidents, lost hikers. There's a lot of things that everyone relies on everybody. So it's definitely neighbors helping neighbors.
That's good.
And you know, fire-wise, we can't handle a fire by ourselves all the time. You know, Pittsfield might not be able to. Windsor, you know, we were up there a couple weeks ago for a big fire up there. You know, and again, it's not that anyone's town or fire department is too small or inadequate. It's just that we don't have enough people right away to make it work. So we rely on our neighbors quite a bit.
That's good. That's good. And on the fun side, I remember that the fire department and the police department had a cornhole competition over at the senior center. That must have been fun.
It was very fun. It was actually one of my first events here in town. There may have been some shenanigans. I think we actually won, but the scorekeeping may have been a little bit off. But yeah.
That's okay. So I've been having a wonderful conversation with Dalton's new fire chief, and Jim Peltier joined Dalton at the end of September 2021, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you and of the department. I overheard some conversation here that before we started that there might be some filming over at the department.
Yep, actually, anyone that wants to come down at any point, stop in the fire station, 20 Flansburgh Ave, and take a tour, look around, ask some questions. If you're willing to volunteer and help out the town, love to have you, and look forward to having the TV camera throughout the building and meet and greet a few more people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, on a personal note, you're here, and your family is in Marlboro.
That's correct.
Correct. So, of course, the housing stock is pretty slim right now, and for those of you watching who may be living in a very large house with 4 or 5 bedrooms, and looking to downsize, our chief here would love to live in town. So give that some thought, and be nice to have your whole family here.
It would. It would
Yes.
be. It would be an amazing thing. You know, this is my town now. I don't plan on going anywhere, and I would love to have my family up here. They come up on weekends and enjoy it. It's a little stuffed in my small little apartment that I have in the city next door. But we're making the best of it, and looking to make a change to move everybody up and keep everybody happy.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And we look forward to seeing more information and more news on a positive note from the department, and more explorers and lots of good things happening. So
Well,
thanks
Sue,
again.
I appreciate you guys taking the time, and like I said, you guys are more than welcome anytime at our house over there.
Great. Thanks so much. And thank you for watching. This is Sue Jacobs, and been talking with Jim Peltier, Chief from the Dalton Fire Department. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.